The Bighorn fire was started by a lightning strike on Bighorn Mountain. So much time and money and effort went into restoring the Bighorn sheep to the Catalinas. We're looking at this closely, we're mapping it, we're looking for the sheep, we're trying to figure out what's going on with them. We want them to survive, we want them to flourish. As of the count last fall, we had 75. We probably have 80 or more because we had lambs on the mountain. 3 lambs were observed in the mountain range since the fire began. My name's Mark Hart. I'm a public information officer for Arizona Game and Fish in Tucson. I cover all of southeastern Arizona in that role. The good news is it's been relatively slow moving and not burning with great intensity everywhere. Here in the Santa Catalina Mountains, we have desert bighorn sheep, so they're adapted to this environment, particularly the lack of water. They have been here for centuries. The herd in the Santa Catalina is numbered about 100. We know that historically and from field observations, but declined until they disappeared in the late 1990s for reasons not fully understood by scientists. Many theories have been speculated on. It was not about overhunting. It may have had something to do with development. That's a species quite vulnerable to disease, particularly respiratory infections like pneumonia. There's also a school of thought that the vegetation, particularly in the Push Ridge wilderness, was just too dense for them. Bighorn sheep need clear line of sight and escape terrain. They rely on their eyesight to see predators coming. And when they need to escape, their preference is to climb, and they are excellent climbers and can climb at great speed.
Is everybody ready?
In 2013, we reintroduced desert bighorn sheep to the range, releasing 120 over a 4-year period there. I remember in particular one release right at the base of Push Ridge in an area known as Laquachi. They went right up to the group that was already there. They got into sheepy terrain right away and knew where to go. It's a big deal to capture bighorn sheep. That's done with helicopters and net guns. But we've had good luck, and by and large, most have made the arduous journey in good shape. The big curled horns on the rams are all about mating. And you can hear the sound of them butting heads. It sounds like a baseball on a bat. And they'll go at it for hours for the right to breed with the females. Young rams are ramblers. We see this a lot with the herds around the Tucson area, where the young rams who don't really have a place in the pecking order yet and aren't strong enough to defeat a more dominant ram will take a walkabout, and they'll go from, say, the Catalinas or the Watermans to other mountain ranges. But they always come back around the time of the rut, which is August, September. And they may get some sparring rounds in with their buddies, so one day they can take their place in the pecking order. The initial burning took place in the bighorn sheep management area, and most of that bighorn sheep management area burned. True to what limited data we have in some field observations, they are in the area from roughly Push Ridge to below Finger Rock. They're in the extreme southwest corner of the range at relatively low elevation. They're below the fire, but not the parts of the area most used by the sheep historically, which is why we're cautiously optimistic that once the fire is over, the bighorns will make better use of that area and perhaps expand their territory. It will be cleared of dense vegetation. There will be new growth coming up, and it will be perfect for them. Sprouting prickly pear, for example, is a favorite. It's like a bighorn sheep salad bar after a fire. For sure, it's going to help them deal with mountain lions. Mountain lions are all about stealth. Densely vegetated areas are good places for concealment. They are classic stalkers and will move slowly and deliberately under concealment toward their prey. Not all mountain lions eat bighorn sheep, but some do, and they're really good at getting bighorn sheep. You know, you never know, because it's wildlife, and they do what they want to do. So they're not stampeding. There's no stampede. This isn't a Disney movie. They just disperse widely. We see wildlife adapting to the fire. Yes, maybe they're not where we would expect them to be. Sometimes re-entering burned areas when it's still smoldering. A Gould's turkey over the weekend we observed doing that very thing. And it's a 155,000 acre mountain range. There's still plenty of territory out there for them, and they're going to use it. I think it's understandable that people are alarmed because of values at risk. We've got firefighters at risk, we've got homes at risk, but we quietly say that in most cases, wildfire is a natural process that improves the overall health of the mountain range over time. Lightning started this fire, as it did long before man inhabited Tucson. There were fires in the Catalinas and these other mountain ranges. And these animals, for generations, they've survived because it's part of a natural process.